Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being with us today on this Friday afternoon at the Info Days on the New European Bauhaus destination. My name is Alina Ujupan, and I'm the head of unit of the New European Bauhaus unit in the Joint Research Center in the European Commission. We are here to speak to you about the New European Bauhaus destination as part of a series of information days on the amendment of the work program of Horizon Europe for 2023-2024. And I would like to take this opportunity to also thank our colleagues in DGRTD for facilitating this exchange. The aim of this session on the New European Bauhaus is for you to get information on our calls on this destination, and as well to ask the questions that you wish to get clarifications. But before that, I would like to introduce my colleagues here who will accompany you on this session. So first is Emilie van Dam, who is the policy officer in the New European Bauhaus unit. Emilie is in charge of research and innovation elements, of course, linked to the European Bauhaus. Our second colleague is Elisa Grafulo Garrido, who is also a policy officer, also in charge on R&I, and of course with the New European Bauhaus angle. And finally, our colleague Christoph Marx from the executive agency CINEA, who is also working with us on these actions. Welcome, all of you. Before we get to the content and to our presentation, I would like also to remind to you that after our presentation, we will have a Slido. So please do participate, pose your questions there. We will try to answer as many as we can. And if there are too many, we will also try to answer afterwards in writing so that all of you have the right information. First, if we move to the first slide, this is the agenda of our session. So I will tell you a few words about New European Bauhaus Initiative, about the destination, and then my colleagues will present the individual actions to you. And then we move finally to the Q&A. Next slide, please. Thank you. So first, maybe a few words on the New European Bauhaus. This has been, or is, an initiative that has been introduced by our president, Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, in her State of the Union speech in 2020, and then it was launched in 2021. It is meant to be the soul of the Green Deal. So what the European Bauhaus does is to promote, develop, foster solutions for green transformation that are not only sustainable, but they are also inclusive, bringing people together, being affordable, being accessible, and also being beautiful, meaning quality of experience and an attractive transformation of the environment and of the lifestyles. This is, if you want, using the three values together is actually the added value of this initiative. It is meant to build grassroots projects, building them, putting them together in a movement, increasing the acceptability, of course, of the green transformation. Next slide, please. First, maybe a bit of history on how we work on the Bauhaus. We have 4 ways to implement this initiative, or 4 strands of work. One of them being the projects we develop and we finance through the European budget. Then we work also on the translation of the new European principles and values on the ground. So how exactly should projects, policy be structured to be compatible with the Bauhaus approach? We work also with a membership-based community. At this point, we have over 1,400 registered members from a very broad array of domains, from public authorities, non-profit, profit organizations, universities, and so on. We work very much on a bottom-up basis, where the community proposes, develops projects, finds partners. And last but not least, our 4th strand of work is communication. So really being in touch with all of you and facilitating also also the links between various initiatives and raising awareness about them. When we come to the funding, until now, the new European Bauhaus has been financed through 9 European programs. It's been more on an ad hoc yearly basis where we've been discussing, agreeing with colleagues based on the needs on the ground, what we could mobilize at European level. But now the initiative has grown, has developed, is more complex, is more mature, and it was about high time to have a dedicated instrument. And this instrument is called the New European Bauhaus Facility, and you see the slide on the screen about it. It has been adopted through the strategic plan of Horizon Europe on the 20th of March. It enters into force, if you want, it will apply from 2025 to 2027. This facility will have 2 components. A research and innovation component and a rollout component, which means deployment of ideas and scaling up of transformative ideas on the ground. The research and innovation component would look at 3 broad areas, one being circularity and materials in the built environment, then linking Green Deal, social inclusion and democracy on the ground, and finally innovative business models, all meant to transform neighborhoods through design for sustainability and inclusion. Now, coming to the NEB destination, so next slide, please. The destination, it's an instrument that makes the link to this facility. And the destination will be implemented now in 2024, and that's why it is part of this amendment of the work program 2023-2024. The destination shares, of course, the same, if you want, objective as the facility, so to transform the neighborhoods, to make them more sustainable, more inclusive, focusing on the built environment, new governance models, and also centralization of knowledge. There will be 3 topics that we start with in this destination. One is to explore the potential of secondary bio-based products. The second topic would be around setting a European Bauhaus Hub for results and impact. It's very important now that we grow bigger to have a very clear idea of where we are in terms of trends, lessons, gaps as well that are developing. And last but not least, because we speak of population, of inclusion and people on the ground, new governance models for co-design and co-construction of public spaces in neighborhoods by communities, so bringing people on the ground. But enough with me presenting you. I will pass now to my colleagues. And first, I would ask Emily if you could introduce to us the first topic on secondary bio-based products, please.
Sure. Thank you, Alina. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Emily, as Alina said, and I will be presenting you the topic on exploiting the potential of secondary bio-based products. So, let me maybe start by a few technical information. So, this topic is a research and innovation action. The indicative budget for it is 8 million euro, and we expect 2 projects to be funded with that amount of money. The call will open on 7th of May, and the deadline is 19th of September. And last thing about the technology readiness level, we expect the project to reach TRL level 5 by the end of the project. Next slide, please. So maybe just to explain briefly why this topic is in a destination. As Alina said, it's about transforming neighborhoods, and for that, it's really key to make the construction sector more sustainable and circular. And to do so, products that are made out of byproducts, residues, and waste from industries, agriculture, aquaculture, or agri-food industries hold a lot of potential. So the expected outcomes for this topic is to make stakeholders from the construction sector better informed about the potential and the properties that those construction products using secondary bio-based materials hold. Another expected outcome is to have roadmap for the industrial scale production or reuse of at least 4 different types of products. And the last one is to have better environmental performance of the construction products, including, for instance, enhanced resource efficiency or potential long-term carbon removal. Now, moving now to what we expect from the proposals for each one of the secondary bio-based projects that the proposal will cover. First is to assess the properties, benefits, design, and construction possibilities of the project and the aesthetics. So that covers at least the structural, thermal, acoustic, health-related, and durability properties, as well as life cycle performance and environmental impact of the product. And this should also include the potential for deconstruction, reuse, and recycling when buildings or public spaces undergo changes. Then we want those projects to be validated in a relevant environment. Then we also need to identify the sectors and application where those projects could be used and embedded. And finally, it's about evaluating the economic scalability, including pathways for setting up efficient circular value chain to collect the secondary source. And sorry, one more, it's to contribute to the development of relevant European standards. So that's in a nutshell the topic that that is in the destination. Back to you, Alina.
Thank you very much, Emily. Now I would like to give the floor to Elisa to introduce us the hub.
Okay,
Please.
yes. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And yes, well, I'm going to present this topic about setting up a new European Bauhaus Hub for results and impact. Again, like Emily, a little bit of technical information to begin with, to open the appetite. So we are speaking here about a coordination and support action with an indicative budget of 1.8 million euros. The idea is to fund one project with this topic, and the system will open for submissions on the 7th of May. It will be closing on the 19th of September this year. Next slide, please. Now, I would like to explain a bit the expected outcomes. So for those who are a bit less familiar with Horizon Europe terminology and calls, expected outcomes are the expected effects that the project should contribute to in the midterm. Now, we have three expected outcomes for this topic. The first of all is related with the robustness of information. The second one is related with the accessibility and applicability of knowledge, and the third one on the sense of belonging. I will now explain a bit more each of them. So the first expected outcome is about the NEB facility being based on robust information from projects that are ongoing or completed, that are European Bauhaus projects, activities, because with that we can expect the facility to have more impact and to be more high quality. Okay, the actions will be better quality and better impact. The second aspect, the second expected outcome, is more about new knowledge, products, standards, approaches, and tools that are aligned with the new European Bauhaus and that are useful for the regeneration of neighborhoods, that all these can be accessed and applied by policymakers and professionals. And the third expected outcome is about the European Bauhaus community, the projects and the stakeholders developing this sense of belonging to the initiative, and also that the fact that all their findings and results of their projects can contribute really to set the direction of this European Bauhaus facility. So this is for the outcomes. Now, next slide, please. On the scope, what are the three main areas that are covered by this topic, or the three main areas of action for the project that will be selected? Collection of knowledge, knowledge management, and monitoring and analysis. Again, I will explain a bit more because this is a lot, I am aware. So the collection of knowledge, it comprises, to begin with, the development and implementation of a methodology and a working methods to really collect all this knowledge from new European Bauhaus projects and actions, and then to also conduct a comparative analysis and presentation of this knowledge, okay? Once we complete this, then the idea is also to do knowledge management. Why? Well, because it's important to, first of all, consult the stakeholders concerned and tailor the hub and its needs and its actions to their needs. Then also make this knowledge available in a way that is user-friendly, in a way that is effective, that is tailored to a variety of stakeholders, and then also support the Commission in building a thematic portfolio of EU-funded projects that are European Bauhaus or related to European Bauhaus. the third area of action of this project or this topic is monitoring and analysis. Why? Well, it is important to develop a monitoring system to really assess the impact of these projects, these new European Bauhaus projects that will be delivered by the facility, to also track and monitor how the take-up and deployment of their solutions and their knowledge is taking place on the ground. Then it's also important to turn all these results of new European Bauhaus projects and actions into actionable knowledge, what we were saying before, no, that is accessible, but it's also applicable. And finally, with all this reflection, also to identify research and innovation gaps, bottlenecks and future needs that actually can be addressed, facilitate the implementation of the facility. And I will just say one more thing, which is, of course, this is taking the new European Bauhaus values and principles at the center of the project. So these proposals really are expected to take this into consideration and also to reflect this holistic, transversal nature of the new European Bauhaus and to cover all the disciplines that are relevant for the new European Bauhaus. I think that with this, I will give the floor back to you, Alina. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elisa. And one last topic now for Emily, again, on new governance models. Would you introduce us a few words on that? Thank you.
Yeah, so the third topic we'll be presenting today is new governance models for the co-design and co-construction of public spaces in neighborhoods by communities. Again, starting with the technical information, this is an innovation action. The budget will also be for this one 8 million euros. Again, we expect 2 projects to be funded. The opening date is 7th of May 2024 and deadline 19th of September 2024. And in terms of technology readiness level, for this topic, we expect the projects to reach a TRL level of 7 or 8 by the end of the project. Next slide, please. Again, why this topic is because we really need to rethink our public spaces so that they are in line with our societies are transforming quite fast and also in line with the new challenges that we are facing today. So it's when we do that, when we transform those public spaces, it's really key to involve local communities and stakeholders and end users that will be actually using those spaces, because it's important that those spaces answer local needs, and it also allows to empower the residents of those spaces and to reconnect them with their local authorities and thus democracy. So for this topic, we have 4 expected outcomes. The first one is to have public authorities that better understand how innovative engagement approach can foster openness, social cohesion, trust and acceptance within communities, and promote the inclusion of marginalized communities and or vulnerable groups. The second one is to have approaches and methodologies that are tested and validated and made available to public authorities, again, to involve really the citizens in the co-design and co-development of public spaces in their neighborhoods. The third one is to have a better public acceptance of change, because when we do involve people in the co-creation and co-design of those spaces, they can really engage, and as I said, it leads to having public spaces that are really being designed with the people, for the people. And the fourth and last expected outcome is to have better cooperation mechanism between citizens and project developers. Now moving to what we expect from the proposal. First, it will really be to study and refine engagement models and methodologies in order for them to enable meaningful participation of stakeholders and citizens. And it will be important to pay specific attention to inclusion and accessibility of those methods and methodology, and also they will have to use innovative digital tools, platforms or technologies such as augmented reality or virtual reality. And it will be also important that even if they use those new technologies, it will have to remain inclusive and accessible to anyone. And it's also about assessing the added value of those innovative methods compared to traditional in-person methods. Then it will also be about demonstrating and measuring that the chosen engagement approach can effectively foster openness, social cohesion, trust, and acceptance within communities, and again promote the inclusion of marginalized communities and vulnerable groups. And this should be demonstrated in at least 3 neighborhoods with different local environmental, social, and economic conditions. And finally, it's about assessing how this can impact future project design and decision-making in the construction of the neighborhoods as well as in the construction system. Back to you, Alina.
Thank you very much, both of you. Now we will move to the questions. So I remind to you again, please use the Slido and ask us the questions you may have, clarities that maybe we could shed light on. I see already some questions are appearing on the screen. There is, for example, one that I see is most popular. Will this destination be permanent, post-2027, or only until the new MFF? Will it be a European Commission priority to protect in the new framework? Maybe, Elisa, you want to take this and clarify?
I can take this. Thank you, Alina. So this destination, as Alina was explaining before, this is a transition towards the NEB facility. So this destination is just for this year. As of 2025 until 2027, we will have the NEB facility with its own 3 destinations, which will correspond to the 3 thematic R&I areas that Alina was outlining before for the R&I component. So, after the current multi-annual financial framework, well, that is to be seen because, of course, that depends on the discussion. So for that, we cannot give any more details for the time being. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Elisa. Then I see the 2 questions actually, which were a bit the same, but I'll take the broader one. Who can apply? Individuals, NGOs, governments, companies, non-profits, and it's the same. We have a similar question on one of the topics, whether there is room for a city or municipality to apply. So I don't know, Christoph, maybe you clarify this for us?
Yeah, I can take that question. So basically, any legal entity can apply for these topics. Mm-hmm. There is a general annex 13 where there are the general conditions explained. So basically any legal entity established in particular countries, and so there's just a requirement in terms of how the consortium is composed of. Mm-hmm. So where we have an innovation action, so that was the topic number 1 and topic number 3. There we need to have at least 3 legal entities, one of which has to come from a member state. 2 others can come from a member state or an associated country. But then what kind of legal entities they represent, it's up to the consortium to basically decide how to put that consortium together. When it comes to the CSA topic, that was topic number 2. Here it's slightly different. There we need at least 1 or only 1 minimum legal entity. Mm-hmm. But again, who that legal entity is up to the applicant in this case. I think there was also another question related to the composition, which was about topic 1. And topic 1 was about the secondary bio-based material and whether there's room for, I think it was about cities and local authorities. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a topic which is an innovation, a research and innovation action, so it has a relatively low technology readiness level. But principally, again, it's possible for a city or municipality to participate, and it's, as for any other proposal, up to the consortium to really define what is the specific role of each of the participants within that consortium. But in principle, they can apply in all 3.
Maybe also good to explain the low technology readiness level.
Yeah.
I would invite you maybe to say a few words. I think it's good for the audience.
Yeah. So for research and innovation actions, as well as for innovation actions, we always define what is the technology readiness level. And that tries to indicate what the solution that is to be developed as part of a project, what level it's supposed to reach by the end of the project. So when we're coming to new technologies or new solutions, clearly we can start from very first principles to actually having something at the end which can be put straight onto the market. And so this is what these technology readiness levels try to explain. And so whenever you look at these topics, it's important to then clearly look at what is the specified technology readiness level, and then to make sure that within the proposal you demonstrate that indeed you will be able to take the proposed solution to that level of technology readiness by the end of the project. If you want to understand a little bit more about technology readiness levels, again, within the general annexes, which are part of the work program, you will find one annex where you have the definition of each of these TRL levels.
Thank you very much, Christoph. I think this was very useful. I take next question. They are moving very, very fast. Is the call setting up the new European Bauhaus Hub for results and impact only dedicated to new European Bauhaus national contact points, or who should be part of the consortium? Maybe, Elisa, again, you need to clarify
I will explain that. So we are speaking about, just to clarify, we're speaking about two different actions in this question. So one topic is the new European Bauhaus Hub for results and impact, and that's a topic that is open to any legal entity that is eligible for Horizon Europe, as Christoph was saying. So this hub is open, it's an open topic. Now, in the part of the work program that corresponds to the destination NEB, it is true that there is another part, which is other actions which are not subject to call for proposals. And that's where we have included a topic or an action to support national contact points. But this action is not going to be open. It's restricted to national contact points from Horizon Europe and European Bauhaus. But these are two separate actions. So the hub is open for anyone eligible for Horizon Europe to apply. And the other action that is not subject to call for proposals is the action to support national contact points. Okay, so it's two different things. I think I explained at least that first part of the question. Then who should be part of the consortium? Well, for each of these two actions, as Christoph was explaining, for the hub, you have a requirement of minimum 3 entities. I know that was a CSA, so it's minimum 1 entity, but it could be more. Sorry. and that's up to the consortium to decide, depending on the proposal and the content they are putting forward and the actions, to decide who are the more relevant partners to join the consortium. For the action on national contact points, it will only be for national contact points. I think I clarified, hopefully.
Thank you very much. I take another one. I see there are a lot of questions actually on the new European Bauhaus facility. The facility is the larger instrument that we launch as of 2025. Here now the information session is on the destination, so the topics, the calls that we implement this year. So I would really encourage you to focus on that, because on the facility we will have in the next 6 months a broad consultation process where you can pose these questions, and also we will answer to some of this, maybe also in a Q&A material in writing. So please do concentrate on the topics of the destination to facilitate then your application for these calls. And in that line of reasoning, I will take another question, which says, do we apply with the project idea, or is our project funded for construction? Maybe I think this is the difference between R&I and in general deployment. So maybe, Emily, do you want to clarify this?
I can try. I'm not sure I fully understand the question, to be totally honest. But here, indeed, it's a research innovation. So we are funding a research project. It's linked also to those technology readiness levels that Christoph was explaining. Depending on the technology readiness level, we can fund research or really early demonstration, but through those topics we won't be funding construction as such. It could be something that you test in a laboratory, for instance, or in real conditions, but it will still be about testing solutions or products, not about really having the end product, if I may say. I don't know if colleagues you want to add.
Elisa, if you want to add.
Maybe just a clarification. The Destination European Bauhaus is a Horizon Europe action, okay? And as such, it is meant to support projects that do research and innovation. It is not meant to support capacity building. It is not meant to support actual construction costs. So it's focusing on R&I, and that's why the proposals need to connect with the topics depending on the research and innovation gap that they are addressing. I would complement with that.
Indeed. Thank you, Elisa. And, do you want to add something, Christoph?
Yeah, maybe to add something as well. Again, on the second topic where we have about governance models. So here we want you to test the particular governance models that you propose and that you've identified, and they will be related to the development of public space, because that's what the topic is about. So we could cover costs as eligible that are related to the testing of those solutions. But of course, we would not be able to cover the wider costs of actually redeveloping that public space. That would go normally into the millions. It's not something that we could cover through a project like this. And anyway, the purpose of these projects that we want to identify is to fund the research and innovation component, not the wider construction works.
Yes, thank you very much. On the title of the topic, of the second topic that includes governance models, but the text only talks about engagement models. How do you differentiate these?
I can take that question. Yes. Well, it's because, it targets local authorities, public authorities. So as such, those are governance models for local authorities to engage people. So I don't think there is anything else to add. It's governance model to engage citizens, stakeholders, residents of neighborhoods, so that they are engaged in the co-creation, co-design, co-development of the public spaces.
Okay, since I see there is a question on the facility that gets quite a number of likes there, how the NEB facility will operate? Will it be an EU agency, or will it be externalized to a consortium or a single organization? Maybe Elisa, you want to explain that so we clarify this aspect.
Yeah, I will try to do it quickly, not to run out of time from questions that are focusing on the destination. So the facility will have two components, as Alina was explaining. One R&I component focusing on research and innovation, and that will be funded through Horizon Europe. That will be following the rules of Horizon Europe, so meaning that there will be an executive agency doing the execution of those goals. So the Commission will be designing the goals, and then the executive agency will execute those goals, doing the evaluations, contracting the projects, etc. That's for the R&I component. Then for the rollout component, here it gets a bit more complicated in terms that, in the sense that it will be, the rollout component will be focusing on deployment and technical assistance for deployment, and this rollout component will be funded through synergies across different EU programs. So of course the funding that will be provided by each program will be subject to the rules of that program. I hope to have gone through it very quickly. If there are still, burning questions, we can take them. But as Alina was saying, we will have consultations on this. We will really extensively explain this. So you have now the chance to focus on the destination. There will not be another info session on this destination. So I invite you to really make the most out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The topic is centered on governance models. Why is there a reference to TRLs when apparently no technological developments are expected? Emilie or Christoph, one of you? Christoph, please.
Happy to take that one. So indeed, this is topic 2 is an innovation action. So it's about demonstrating, and so while the governance models itself are not a technology, we wanted to indicate at what level we want to arrive at. And since it's an innovation action, this is about demonstrating something, and it's a solution essentially then which would be ready for take up after the project. That's why it has a very high TL level of 7 to 8. I think there's also reference made within the topic to some technical solutions which could be deployed, like IT and so on. So again, it makes it clear that we don't want to develop things as such during the project, but even the topic text refers to existing models even, but it's to make sure that these existing methodologies can be applied in the context of the NEB, and that is something which has to be done during the project, and clearly we want to still make sure that then at the end the solution will reach tier level 7 or 8.
Yeah, maybe also to add that when we run from TRL1 to TRL8, it's also between what is fundamental research, so even governance, participatory approaches and so on can be subject to core fundamental research, and then going closer and closer to application as we go to higher TRL. So it's not necessarily that we mean only technology in the sense of industrial or technical issues, but it's in general the scientific fundamental research, starting from there and going towards application. So anything, even social sciences and humanities are subject to that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Christoph. Can we apply for destination calls and then still apply for facility calls?
Okay.
Elisa.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Yes, in principle, I don't see a reason why destination calls would be excluding from participation in the NEB facility if the destination is actually paving the way for the facility to be implemented. So yes, you can apply to both destination calls and still apply to NEB facility calls.
Yes, and maybe to mention, destination calls are this year, facility calls will be in the next work program. So the same rules applies for anyone applying in calls into one work program, and then the next one, indeed. If selected for the NEB Hub call, would that make the team ineligible? No, that is the same. Sorry, I read it again. I see it's a bit the same kind of question. So it does not make, if you apply for the NEB Hub call, I don't think you become ineligible for other calls in 2025. The eligibility rules of those calls will apply. So we will not take that question. Maybe we take this one on the topic, on the third topic. Since this is an innovation action and no start technology readiness level is mentioned, the engagement models suggested should already have been tested, and in what context? Experimental? But that's Christoph.
Okay. Topic 3 is actually about the hub.
No,
it's the co-creation.
They're speaking about the topic that was presented now as third topic, so the governance model one.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that this is about the governance models again, and so what we just explained before. I
think it's important.
Yes, they should have already been tested. Exactly, that's what I mentioned just earlier when we're talking about these engagement models in topic 2. These should be the ones which are available already, and so they should be then applied in the context of developing public space and also reflecting those NEB values.
Okay.
So this is the particular aspect of that topic.
Thank you. It keeps moving. Will the new European Bauhaus also provide funding opportunities? I think it's good we take this again for local administrations as knowledge hubs for building culture, integrated urban development and public space.
I can take that one.
Please.
So I think this question may have been submitted while we were replying also to a previous question. So I will recap. The Destination NEB is a Horizon Europe to action, and therefore it's focused on projects that do research and innovation. It is not for capacity building. It is not for anything else which is not research and innovation. Now, this being said, the Destination European Bauhaus includes one topic, which is to set up a new European Bauhaus Hub for results and impact. This hub will be a learning and knowledge platform. It will be shared with the public through an IT interface. So the hub as project will be monitoring results of projects, will be providing analysis on research and innovation gaps, insights that could help us to also tailor policy measures along the implementation of the facility. But as I was saying, this facility and the destination, the destination is not for capacity building. It's not meant. This hub or the destination is not the hub is not meant to provide financial support to third parties. That's it. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Elisa. NEB 0101, so topic number 1. This topic seems quite similar to some others that have already appeared in clusters 6 or 4. How is the risk of overlapping being managed? Emily, maybe you want to say a few words about that?
Take that one. Here maybe to stress that it's really about secondary bio-based products. So products that are made out of waste or residues or byproducts from industries or agriculture. So there is a lot of research being done on bio-based products, a bit less on secondary bio-based products. So here we are really bringing added value. Also to note that it's a research innovation action. So it's about assessing the properties of materials that have been developed, researched. And here it's taking it a step further and really assessing the properties to help the construction sector to better understand what is the potential of those materials. And maybe also another element is that in the destination text, we do encourage collaboration and synergies with other running projects or topics, and there is a whole list in the text, and some of the topics in cluster 6 and cluster 4 are mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much. Will there be more calls during the 2023-2024 period, or are these 3 the only ones in this work program? Elisa?
Yes, so for the destination on the European Bauhaus, these will be the only 3 topics we will have. As Alina was kind of explaining at the beginning, the work program 23-24 has been amended, and this is part of the new calls that have been added, but there will be no more calls added to the work program. It's been already amended, and these are the topics that we will include for the destination NEB.
Maybe you want to clarify also the additional action on the NCPs that will also be part of.
Yeah. So to clarify that. So this destination European Bauhaus, it has one call with the 3 topics that we presented today, and those are open to anyone that is eligible to apply to Horizon Europe. And this same destination European Bauhaus has another section which is other actions not subject to calls for proposals, which includes additional actions to support an expert group for the NEB facility and as an action to support national contact points. But these 2 are not subject to an open call to finance projects as the topics we were mentioning, the three that we have been presenting today.
Super, thank you very, very much. Secondary bio-based materials. Should it be 4 different kinds of biomass or 4 different kinds of applications, Emily?
So it's 4 different products. It's 4 different projects. They could be using the same biomass, but it would have to be 4 different projects, not different kinds of application. Really, 4 different products.
Okay, and thank you. Why no topic on regeneration if regeneration is the highest level of ambition of the NEB compass? Sorry, Emily, again, back to you.
I can take this one too, yeah. Well, the answer is pretty simple, that for this destination we had a limited budget, so we could not have that many topics, but regeneration indeed is really at the core of the European Bauhaus facility. It's one of the main areas that is listed in the Horizon Europe strategic plan for 2025-2027. It's circular and regenerative approaches, so it's really, as I said, at the core of the NEB facility, and yeah, there will be topics on regeneration, regenerative design coming up in the NEB facility.
Thank you very much. NEB topics in the destination 2 and 3. Would you expect the European Bauhaus EIT community and other related NEB projects to get involved? Elisa?
It is up to the applicants to decide how they compose the consortium and what is the content of their project proposal. So I would really not be able to give a clear answer to that, other than it depends on your proposals, what you intend to deliver within the framework set by each topic, and who are the best actors placed to really contribute to the delivery of that project.
Thank you. Christoph, anything to add?
I was just going to say there was the other question, which is now at the top. Can we give examples? So it's the same thing. We cannot give examples, so it's really up to the applicant. But of course, if you want to explore what could be done, in most cases you will have to, or you would want to form consortia. And it's probably just worth highlighting as well, there's a functionality on the funding and tender portal where you can search for partners, and you can also in a way offer that you're looking for partners. And that of course is then a way of exchanging with other organizations to take a decision what kind of project you may want to do, how you want to compose the consortium, and then actually develop your idea based on the information provided within the call. But we cannot otherwise give a guidance on that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Please,
sorry,
Elisa.
just to complement on what you were saying, Christoph, that this funding and tenders portal is for all of the Horizon Europe topics. Is not focusing specifically on the European Bauhaus community. Okay, so for each topic you have a functionality to request to show your interest, that you are interested in the topic and looking for partners. But this is not targeting specifically the European Bauhaus community. It's just a clarification. If you are more interested in understanding who is part of this European Bauhaus community, then you can look through the European Bauhaus dashboard, which shows all the members of this community, and it also includes the EU-funded projects resulting from calls dedicated to the European Bauhaus. We are, of course, updating because projects are being onboarded progressively, so just clarifying a bit.
Thank you very much. So, I mean, to sum up, there are two sources that you can actually consult, one related to Horizon Europe portal and one related to the new European Bauhaus specifically. So do consult both of these sources indeed. What to include in neighborhoods? Is it about countries from neighborhood of the EU? I think here we need to clarify what we mean by neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Elisa, I see you want to answer.
Yes, I'll take this question, which is actually a nice question as well.
Exactly.
We're getting very interesting questions. So there is no agreed definition of a neighborhood, at least at the EU level. And we are aware of that. Why? Because neighborhoods can be defined in very different ways. You can look at them in terms of density of population. You can look at them in terms of cultural heritage, in terms of mix of functions, offer of services, spatial boundaries. So you can really approach the concept of neighborhood from very different perspectives. So we are keeping this concept or this notion of neighborhood deliberately open, just to allow for more flexibility for proposals to really exploit their potential, and also to show the diversity, or to give a possibility to to acknowledge also the diversity of concepts that could be applied to neighborhoods. This being said, what is interesting and what is important to retain when you are looking at these topics is that by neighborhood we do not mean a whole town or a whole city. We do not mean a building itself as such. We are speaking about in between, a spatial geographical, I mean, not geographical, but something in between that is not a full city, it is not only just a building. And of course, there is. We're also aware that there is a precedent in policy implementation targeting neighborhoods in the case of the cohesion policy. But so we will also be looking at how this policy has been implemented. But again, for these topics, we are keeping the definition deliberately open, so that proposals have more flexibility to look at this concept from the perspective of the realities they are addressing.
Yeah, so just clearly we do not mean the geographical neighborhood of the European Union, but we mean quartiers, let's say organizational bits of cities, municipalities, and also, I mean, this applies also in rural areas. So the definition is quite broad. Our organization is winner of the awards. We would like to join a consortium for the second topic. Yeah, I will not read the entire title there, but don't know how. Can you recommend us to others, Christoph?
No, we can't recommend you to others. What we have done, just said before, Elisa and I were referring to both the NEB website, the funding and tender portal, which has functionalities to allow you to get in contact with other consortium partners or potential consortium partners. So to some extent, this is well clearly about networking and finding other interested partners with whom you can come together. But we cannot get involved in proposals and therefore also not get involved in recommending one or the other to somebody else.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the Commission as institution, because we have to treat all of you fairly and equally, we have to stay objective, and there is a limit to our involvement. What I would add to what you say is also, of course, those of you who aren't, become members of the NEB community. I mean, it's quite a broad community. It includes universities, it includes NGOs, it includes institutes, it includes companies, so all sorts of potential partners that you can yourself find in order to develop projects together. So also make use of this, let's say, bottom-up feature of this rich community of the new European Bauhaus. And those of you who are not part of it, please do join us. Beyond these calls, there is a lot of interesting things that you can be part of, and do consider that. What would be, I'm taking a number of clarification questions because I think it's important for those who listen to us. What would be the recommended partnership structure for the community's call in terms of number and diversity of projects? Coming again to you, Christoph, Elisa, one of you maybe to explain this, I would say a bit again.
Yeah. So there is as such no recommended structure for putting together a consortium. I think it always starts with an analysis of the topic itself. What are the requirements? And then next to set out what is the specific idea, the kind of solutions that you actually want to develop. And then based on that, you can then for yourself define, okay, which are the important partners that we have to include. It's part of the evaluation as well. That's no secret that we're looking at what is the consortium composition and are they able to bring all the necessary requirements together in order to deliver the project. And in so far, it makes sense as well for applicants to develop this topic accordingly, starting with the topic description, then developing the idea on the basis of that, then to look at who would we need to get involved in order to make this a really successful project. And that's what we're looking at during the evaluation as well.
Thank you very much. Maybe linked to this, same around topic 2, but I think it's valid in general to clarify this aspect. Is it important to have 3 different places in 3 different countries or in the same to be compared?
Yeah, for the second topic, indeed. Actually, it specifically states that there should be demonstrated in at least 3 neighborhoods. So it has to be a minimum of 3. It can be more. And they should be different in terms of their local environmental, social, and economic conditions. And then on top of that, we also want to see them in different member states or in associated countries. So if you have 3 neighborhoods, which is the minimum requirement, and they differ in terms of their social, economic characteristics, and they would be within one member state, that wouldn't actually fulfill the condition. And the idea behind this, just to explain maybe, is that when these solutions are to be demonstrated to a very high TRL level, the importance that we see is that the testing is done in different environments to see that the tool is actually applicable, lessons can be learned from that. And so within a member state, you can have different conditions. But then the interesting part, that's why we specify the 3 member states as well, or associated countries, is that you have a differing political system, planning system, and so on, which then also has to be reflected in the demonstration, and hence the definition of that topic on that aspect.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm told we have little time left, so probably we have time for one more question, and then we'll try also to take the rest later. There will be also a Q&A material that we will develop. So let's see. Is the NEB funding going to be available to develop platforms or tools that can benefit the implementation of other NEB projects? Who would maybe
I'm trying to understand, is NEB funding, meaning the NEB funding going to be available to develop platforms or tools?
I think it's rather related to the hub. Huh?
It's okay. No, the hub. Okay, if it's focusing on the hub is not. So the hub is not going to provide financial support to third parties. That's one clarification. But the hub is supposed to make all this knowledge available in a way that, so collect the knowledge, analyze, compare, provide it in a tailor-made approach in a way that is user-friendly, that is accessible, that is in the right format for a range of stakeholders, and therefore, this knowledge, solutions, results will be made publicly available. I mean, there will be this the public visible face of the hub will be a NITE interface where all this knowledge will be shared, these results, these tools. Yeah. I hope to have replied. I'm not clear with the question myself.
I mean, one of the results, of course, of the hub, as we've been discussing, is also, of course, learnings, trends, yes. Gaps. So that would inform next projects for sure. But also maybe to mention to you that, of course, when it comes to tools helping the implementation of the projects, this, again, is not subject to the facility, but is subject to the work that we develop in the New European Bauhaus unit. So there we have the New European Bauhaus Compass, which is one of the tools supporting you to do, to understand what NEB is and do that kind of NEB projects. We are also going to publish in a few months investment guidelines developed together with the European Investment Bank. And also we will put together a self-assessment tool which should help you understand better the NEB character of the project. So there will be the kind of facilitating tools or frameworks, as you put in your question, which can help and benefit and facilitate, if you want, the implementation of NEB projects in general. And that's in terms of framework. And then in terms of knowledge, research needs, and how to take the knowledge further, then of course the hub will be very informative. I'm looking at the clock. I see we are running out of time. Maybe very, very, very quickly, just one last question on the UK and in general, associated countries, are they included in this call? Maybe, Christoph, very quickly, and then we close.
Yes, they are.
Good. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you, colleagues, for being present here. Thank you also those online, those who posed us the questions. Very interesting questions. Also gives us an idea on how to take and clarify certain elements further. Those questions that we didn't manage to answer, we will try to do so in writing afterwards. With this, I close the session of today. I invite you to join again the new European Bauhaus community, to be part of our family and the whole work that we are doing on the new European Bauhaus, including this portfolio of projects that we hope it will grow as we go along. And of course, I invite you also to participate. Please do stay tuned for the consultation on the content of the NEB facility, so the broader instrument that we will implement as of 2025-2027. Thank you very much, and a nice Friday afternoon, evening to all of you. Thank you.